Fran and I were talking a little bit earlier about some of the credibility factors, and we keep hearing, Fran, about a false flag operation. Do you want to address this briefly?
Right. As we looked into 9/11, it led so many of us to become aware that our history is replete with what we call false flag operations. What is a false flag operation? It's basically an attack on one's own people by a government in order to create a climate of fear, in order to manipulate people to go to war and to take away their civil liberties. We found that happened in Germany in 1933 with the Reichstag fire. The Nazis actually burned down the Reichstag, and therefore they had an act very much like our own Patriot Act. And so that is what we feel 9/11 is. We strongly feel that 9/11 was a false flag operation, but we're saying let's just have a real investigation and find out.
An independent investigation. Yeah. Well, let's throw it back on over to Rebecca and Bob.
Thank you so much again, Sherry. Bob, we were talking about how you had a moment, an aha moment, if you will, but it's important for other people who are watching right now to take responsibility and look into 9/11 as well, is it not?
Well, it's extremely, this is why I do what I'm doing. I mean, I really hate doing it, but I talk to people, and the two words that I used, believe and know. And I have so many people come up to me and says, I believe you're right, but remember, believe leaves doubt, and I just don't think people want to believe or know that the United States might have been involved in something like that, and people have come out and told me this. That's why it's important to look into it. Do your own investigation, because it is so important to understand. Just look at yourself. If you had a child murdered, wouldn't you want an investigation? I have had none, so I have to do it. That's why I can say I know, but so many people will say that I believe. But then you always leave that doubt, and it leaves you off the hook. And that's why I'm here. I will speak till the day I die about that.
1-800-690-KBDI is the number to call, or go to kbdi.org.
Pearl Harbor Revisited. It was the new Pearl Harbor which really helped spark a worldwide movement demanding 9/11 truth. And this book is the follow-up to that. It provides a chapter-by-chapter updating of the earlier book, and it shows that the case against the official account of 9/11 is now even stronger. And the case is made by independent researchers. It includes architects, engineers, physicists, pilots, politicians, former military officers, and this book maintains that it leaves no doubt that 9/11 was a false flag operation designed to give the Bush-Cheney administration a pretext to attack the oil-rich Muslim nations. Right now, we're throwing it back on over to Rebecca, and she's joined by Director Ray.
We want to ask you one question. Why did you make the film, Ray?
Two words: transparency and accountability. The Bush administration made the decision after 9/11 that no one would be fired, and in fact, many of the worst the people who did the worst jobs were actually promoted after 9/11. And what we want to see are people who either, made jaw-droppingly bad decisions before 9/11. We want to see them fired or prosecuted if it calls for that. And anyone who lied to a commissioner in an investigation or the FBI or Congress in order to cover up their failures or worse before 9/11, they need to be prosecuted as well.
And you're working on a third film yet, and we will talk about that a little bit later.
We're back with Kyle Hintz. We're kind of trading people off. We're trying to bring a lot of information into your home right now. Kyle, what are we going to talk about? Kyle, what question I have is, how did this film change your life? What's happened to you since big question too big for 2 minutes?
No. I mean, I started as an activist. I was a yacht captain before I got involved as an activist, confronting people in Washington, D.C., holding press conferences at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., and that eventually brought Ray to me, and then I became a filmmaker. And I don't know, I guess it showed, for one, it showed that you don't have to be a professional or an expert or get a degree in order to get something done. I mean, I just dove in and I did it. And I learned along the way. At times I was utterly terrified. And so I guess I proved myself that I can take on a challenge, even a difficult one, and have a modicum of success. And yeah, so that's one way it changed me.
Well, we hope that this airing on this public TV station in Denver helps to resonate across the system. We've had so many people emailing from all over the country. They're going to encourage their stations to air at Phoenix, Minneapolis.
I just got an email this afternoon from an old donor from when I was running unansweredquestions.org. He sent me an email and said, copied me on it to the CEO or the president of his PBS station in North Carolina where he lives.
Well, that's great.
Just happened today.
You know, KBDI has always been ahead of the curve. We've taken a lot of risks. We've set a lot of things in momentum, and sometimes we don't get the credit for being the ones that kind of dig through and find it out, but it's because we have a great community out there in Colorado that supports what we do, that has helped us stay really nimble during these times. And the fact that we can take a risk like this and we can have the phones ringing, Kyle flew in yesterday from Florida, Bob came in from Pennsylvania, Ray's here from Los Angeles, and
you make that possible.
It's all because of you.
Yep.
So if you've already called in, thanks so much. And if you haven't called in yet, I know that you're thinking about it right now, so you can do it right now. It just takes a couple of minutes to make your pledge of support. Pledge $25 or $40 for the full year, and then you know what? You can take even more ownership in this really independent and diverse public television station right now around this film 9/11 Press for Truth. So I think any second they're going to give us the 10-second countdown. Some more great stuff is coming up. Kyle's going to be joining us as well as our other guests, so stay tuned, and thank you. You know, here at KBDI, it's always been about the First Amendment. It's about freedom of speech. It's about presenting something different. You know, that's why we work here. We're run very conservatively here, even though we're not so conservative on our air. So your investment at any level helps us bring more programs like this into the Colorado community. And you know, Ray said it, whether you agree or disagree, the important thing is that the information is available for you. And we're encouraging you to do your own investigation and explore this subject further on your own. Right now, we've got great folks in our phone bank. They're from Colorado 9/11 Visibility. They've got to give themselves a big hand. They have made this event possible. We also have some friends of KBDI in the phone bank there coming in from all over the state to help us rally so we can gauge if this is content that you want to see more of. So give us a call, 1-800-690-5234 or kbdi.org. When you make an investment in one of our levels around 9/11, we have some great thank you gifts for you. At the $100 level, you're going to receive the DVD of the program. It's got bonus material on there, as well as what ended up on the cutting room floor and became its own DVD in their own words. And more about that a little bit later, but let's throw it back on over to Rebecca and Ray.
Thanks, Sherry. We do want to talk at this point a little bit about some of the films that you're working on now, Ray, and also about the film that you would get as a thank you gift. Also, talk to me a little bit about something that ended up on the cutting room floor.
Well, we did it was over 2 hours of deleted scenes that we ended up putting into a DVD companion called In Their Own Words, which is available here tonight if you make the pledge and our website. And those we were able, you know, we tried to condense the information into a manageable hour-and-a-half film here with Press for Truth. There were so many details that you'll find in Paul Thompson's timeline that you can find in Their Own Words, where it's the nitty-gritty of who lied or who failed, and you know, really getting to the in and outs of those failures.
And your new film hits on basically taking that even one step further as far as the accountability goes.
Speaking directly to a lot of the people involved here and getting it, you know, from the horse's mouth exactly if it was just a failure or was something else going on there, you know.
So you're not letting it lie.
No, I think you know, the commission failed to fully investigate. Hopefully this film demonstrates that, and what we want to do is continue that investigation ourselves if we can find the full financing to complete that film.
Okay, so that's not necessarily something, so people do need to help to support not only public television stations such as KBDI, and once again let me give you that phone number, that's 1-800-690 690-KBDI, or you can go to our secure website, which of course is kbdi.org, and you can make your pledge of support, and you can not only get, as Ray mentioned, this film that you're watching this evening, first time in the United States of America. 37 other countries have shown this film. KBDI is bringing it to you for the first time to an American audience on a broadcast television network. We also want to point out to you that Your other film is available at certain levels, and that one is in
their own words, the companion DVD of deleted scenes. Yeah.
And we also want you to go to the websites that Ray's talking about, and that also Mr. Thompson, Paul Thompson, and that is called
The Complete 9/11 Timeline. Google that, and that'll get you where you need to go.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
We're going to go back over to Sherry.